Start admitting all. Okay, and we are live there. We're over YouTube, and we should be okay on Facebook. And I think we're good to start here. So 10 seconds. Let's see. All right. Yeah, we're good. Awesome. Well, it's only 4:01 p.m. Pacific time, or well, Mountain Time where I'm at in Phoenix, and 6:01, so we missed the hour by 1 minute. But okay. All right, guys. Thank you everyone for joining our Heart Coherence Meditation again this Tuesday, January 14th, in the year 2025. We appreciate everyone that has joined, and wow, we got a lot of newcomers. So thank you so much for everyone that has joined and signed up for our email list, even just in the past week or two. So I was wondering what was going on because there was like, I guess I saw on Seth's Facebook that he had some viral photos that were just like totally amazing, and I do a little bit of photography myself, and I mean, I'll be honest, some of them, you can attribute to like some lens flares, but like some of them are just like you can't describe. I mean, they could be not. It could be maybe part of the camera, but like it still doesn't take away from any of the fact that like even that one video you have or the one photo you have, with your hands, you're
Yeah.
standing on top of a rock, you have your hands left and right, and then you got like the energy and like, the light and everything. I mean, it's just so amazing. If you guys haven't seen that, just hop on over to Facebook and go in the I'm Awake Now What Facebook group. And Seth has that like a whole slew of like cool pictures located there. So click on those. So, anyways, thank you everyone for coming to these coherence meditations as usual. A lot of our regulars and a lot of new people. So thank you for joining. We do hold these coherence meditations every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. You can find us right over here at I'mAwakeNowWhat.com. Mostly just, you can find Seth, I should say. I'm just like kind of the techie guy with a lot of very similar interests that Seth and I met up many years ago. And I've always used to even follow one of his closest friends, Laura Eisenhart. Well, I still do, I should say. Sorry, Laura, if you're listening to this, I love you. Anyways, so yeah, click on that link, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the newsletter. It will pop up as soon as you go on that link after just a couple seconds. And we also have a calendar that, at least right now, just has our Zoom link on there, so you can go to imawakenowwhat.com/calendar. We do restream over here from our main live Zoom platform to YouTube and Facebook. And if you are over there, YouTube, Facebook land, please do subscribe and like and definitely share this out to any friends and family that you think can benefit. So, of course, we would love you over here on Zoom. So if you haven't, just again, I'm awakenowwhat.com/calendar. So we've been doing these for going on, well, 2 years and just a couple months. And we do have all of our recordings over at the YouTube link. It's YouTube. Just do a search for Seth Leaf Przansky and click on the live tab, and you'll see all of the recordings dating back to day one. So, anyways, we do encourage everyone to do these as a daily practice. And for every single week, we do have a title. So, if you do have a title in mind, please do just reach out to Seth and let him know, and he'll put that title in the queue, and we'll get around to that. So, um, and speaking of titles, then, so this week with all the chaos that's going on in California and the wildfires, a lot of speculation, whichever way you stand, whether I'm not going to go into that. So anyway, but the title for this week is Igniting Inner Peace, a meditation for California's healing. So on that note, we do hope that everyone makes it out of the California fires and um, is safe and all that other stuff. So, and not only that, but just even gets their property back, and it's not just like a land grab or anything like Maui and everything else, as I think it may be.
Wow.
Anyway, so onward to you, Seth, and let's get the party started.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, everybody, as always, for being here. And we do this every Tuesday for obvious reasons. We need connection, we need community, we need to connect with others who are so much like not only who we are, but like we all have the potential to be. And of course, things are happening, crazy, crazy things, and it just keeps happening. But when I was connecting with my friends and people who have helped me do these coordinated efforts, it was almost the the fire to be involved and make a difference just wasn't there. It's almost like we're becoming desensitized because these events just happen one after another after another. And that's just in this country. There's stuff happening all over the world that we don't hear about, and it's happening. I had a friend who passed away, Paul Power. He's the founder of the Primary Water Institute, which is basically they've proven that there is endless amounts of water in the planet and that it comes up to the surface naturally, and that the whole water shortage thing isn't real. It's all manufactured. But even that's not the point, whether it is or it isn't. He would tell me like everything happening in the Ring of Fire, all the volcanoes, all the tectonic plates. He said it is so extreme what's happening, and nobody is reporting on it. And of course, right? Because what can we do with that, right? If we think the ground beneath our feet is becoming unstable, if we're falling, it could just like break at any time. Of course, people are going to be afraid. But the reality is, we are living beings that are so much more in harmony with all the natural elements of reality than we are to all of the artificial stuff. All of the invisible manufactured frequencies and satellite waves and Wi-Fi and radio waves. Yeah, it's everywhere. It's everywhere now. But so is the magnetic fields that are being emanated from this planet. So are the massive cosmic cycles of the sun rotating through the solar systems and the galaxy. All of that is also here. And all of that is so much more profound and powerful than all of the artificial stuff. So, but we wouldn't really ever know that unless we made space to explore space from the inside out, because that is reality. You know, just sitting here, like you looking at the screen, if we were evolved enough to perceive all of these subtle energy fields that are everywhere. Like there is so many different forms of entities living in so many different variations and dimensions and levels. But because we are perceptually atrophied, we just don't see it, right? And if we don't see it, then of course we just don't even pay attention to it. But if we become hypersensitive, or if we allow our hypersensitivities to develop into these extrasensory perceptive abilities that every single one of us has, every single one. All the junk DNA inside of us is not junk. It is waiting to be activated by us. And the only way we're going to do that is by doing it. We got to find the part of us that's like, wait a minute, there's an invisible field of beyond genius, intelligence, causing our hearts to beat, allowing us to breathe, to perceive reality, even in our limitations of how we perceive reality. It is alive and it is well, and it is us. And it's also everything that allows us to be here. So if anybody tries to take your power away, they can't. They can't. And the only way they could take it from you is if you give it to them. And so I'm going to say this too before we get into the meditation, but I was talking earlier with others, and it seemed like there's a desensitization taking place. Like all these crazy events keep happening, and people are just, all right, what's new this week or this month? It just keeps happening. And then it goes back to all these conversations of like, okay, well, at our core, all these governments, all these different institutions, all these things are creating division. Yeah, of course it is. But let's be honest. What and where is the source of division coming from? Where is division coming from? Is it coming from our institutions? Is it coming from our government? Is it coming from all the multinational corporations that basically are everywhere around the world and rule all of the industries? Is it coming from all of that or any of that? Yeah, a little bit, definitely a little bit. But where it's really coming from, right inside of us, we are the source of that division, but we don't even know it. And it has become so normalized that even intelligent, caring, loving people still don't even see it. And the reasons for this are manifold, and I'm working on stuff to help people understand this. We project division from within ourselves, along with billions of others. And what we project, we create. And the division is between who we think we are and what we are. So, who we think we are, our ego, our personality, our sense of self, that's who we think we are. But what we are is this invisible, vibrant field of infinite intelligence that causes all these complex systems of our body to work together, whether we are awake or asleep. And the division is actually not real, it's an illusion that we created because nobody can create this for us. They can set up all the structures so that we unconsciously consent to building this disconnection between who we think we are and what we are. But enough of us are coming to it now. We realize that no more. We are remembering what we are, why we're here. And the more that most of us do this, those who realize something like this is happening, the more we begin to mend the illusion between who we think we are and what we are. That illusion disappears, and we become conscious of the conscious mind, the subconscious, the unconscious, and the infinite amounts of perceptual ability centers that are everywhere, all through our body and all around us. That's what reality is. And most people, as they're dying, all of it starts to come back and like, oh my God, oh, I went through it again and it goes away. And those who die before they die do not die when they die. And there's lots of different ways to interpret that. But the reality is, this illusion only exists, this division between who we think we are and what we are exists only because we give it power. And enough of us are remembering that. And we're coming back to our senses, our real senses, and we're reminding each other. We're like, oh my God, you have it too. Your heart is beating, your brain is thinking, all these things are happening. It's happening to me, it's happening to you, it's happening to everybody. And the more that we begin to remind each other of what we all already know, the sooner we set ourselves free from the source of division, which is us. And when enough of us come to terms with that together, and that's why people are like, oh, how could you have any faith in our species? Look at what they've done. Look at all the chaos. Look at all the. And it's like, yeah, it does. It looks pretty desperate for sure. And it would take a miracle for all of that to change. But you know what? The miracle is real. It's already happening. It's happening to us, through us, from us, of us. That is the nature of reality. And all of the fear-based belief systems and indoctrination tactics that are playing out, they got nothing on reality. Reality is so much bigger than all of these systems in our world. And when we learn to mend the division from within, then all of this greater support just becomes self-evident. So, with that said, let's just get comfortable. You can be sitting, you can lay down.
Hey, so
Yes.
sorry, sorry
No,
to
don't worry
interrupt
about
really quick. I was just looking
it.
over.
Mhm.
I did not mention here for anybody that is new here. Also, I do have this QR code right here. This is a playlist. Should you want to actually play anything in the background, what I do is I use a pair of speaker hockey pucks essentially, and I use my phone to Bluetooth stream any frequency music to my speakers. So feel free to use that QR code or go to bit.ly/CM playlist. So yeah, as you're actually saying this, and I think it's kind of important also that, um, well, a couple of things that you said there kind of, hit me as well because I've been watching some of the recent videos even on these fires and everything. But I think it's good for us to be cognizant of different things that may relate to it. But one of the things that kind of comes to mind right off the bat are the well Hollywood, which is as we all know Hollywood and everything, but the ley lines of the Earth and the vortexes and all that stuff, all the power, all the energies and everything in Los Angeles, specifically Hollywood. Uh, maybe there's something going on there as far as I don't want to again go down that rabbit hole, but them wanting to take over that territory, them, whoever you want to say, but for us to be cognizant that we have those energies and vortexes available to us, um, I think that if we're more cognizant of that it's not just them, you know, taking them over. You know what I'm trying to get to? As long as
Yeah.
like, it's like your energy flows where your intentions are, right? You know, there's Grandpa Bill. Okay, so
Mhm.
Grandpa Bill, did you want to unmute? Is that what you wanted it to do? I'm gonna unmute you right now. Oh no. Okay. Well, raise your hand again if you wanted to. So, anyways, I just wanted to say, like, all those like vortexes, energies, and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, they do exist in Hollywood, and we should just be cognizant of that.
Yeah,
So,
they're everywhere. They're
there you
everywhere. They're
go.
all through everything. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
They're not only all over this planet, but they're actually all through us as well.
Yes.
And as soon as we go, of course, it's they're doing all that, but as soon as we go into us and them, we bypass the most important decision that we have the capability to make that no one else does, which is mending that source of division from within that says it's their fault, it's his fault, it's her fault. It
Yeah.
might
And
be, it might
it,
be their fault, but that's not what we're focusing on because it's within us. And I know that's hard for people to get, but usually most people don't realize that until they die. But it's here now.
yeah.
We are all that. Anyway, go ahead. Did
No,
Grandpa
you,
Bill
you
want to
said something.
talk?
You said something else also. I didn't know. Grandpa Bill, did you want to say anything? Is that no? Okay.
Nope.
I'll go ahead and just mute out then. Um, Another thing you said there was contracts. So as we know, we come into this world with a contract. So, for us to be cognizant that we are able to contract, that we can only give away our power if we contract.
Yeah.
So, all right, my two
Well,
cents. Anyways, guys, that's what I was chiming in for initially. So
I
let's
see.
get this party
Well, your
started.
gold, your money, your 2 cents is backed by gold and silver. So,
There you go.
all right. With all of that, let's just get relaxed. You can be sitting, Be laying down. We're going to do standing ones at some point, but not now. And so wherever you are, just relax. Relax your whole body at once. Or you can focus on different parts of your body that are holding on to tension. However it works for you, just relax all of your being, of your body. Something that I love to do is to relax the muscles of my face. And it's really amazing because when you relax the muscles of your face, every system in your body has points in the face. Acupressure, acupuncture, it's all through you. And so when you relax your face, it makes it really easy to relax the rest of your body. And so as you relax, just kind of let your awareness go. Set yourself free. It's so easy to get caught up in all of these stories that we tell ourselves. Stories in languages that without even knowing, we give power to it. And so rather than words, listen to what I'm saying, but listen to the space between the words and listen to the sound, the tone. And as you listen to this, don't listen to it as though I'm the one doing it. Connect to the part of you that is perceiving this. And so relax, set your mind free. Within each and every one of us is all the elements that exist in the world around us. Our body is earth. The water is the most predominant element around us. Air is even more predominant than water, and water and air are really fascinating because air is the unseen, and water is in that state, that liquid state between air, the unseen, and water, what is seen. And our awareness represents fire, but not just fire. Consciousness represents the ether, the unseen, but completely knowable source of energy that is animating each and every one of us from the inside out. causing our heart to beat. It's causing our lungs to breathe. The more we begin to stop ascribing meaning to everything external to us, the more we can take that energy, that attention, and call it back to us. Taking our attention and literally grounding it into all of these elements of our being that are working together, whether we perceive it or not. And that also, when we perceive it, we have a hand in helping organize the way all of these elements work within us. And it's really very simple. There simply is an invisible, miraculous, sensory-based, feeling-oriented electricity that's also electromagnetic consciousness that not only does it have all these natural qualities and more of these powerful invisible forces like electricity and magnetism, our very consciousness itself is comprised of elements that are not on the periodic table. Each and every one of us is made of something that is so far beyond normal comprehension, but that we don't see it because without even knowing it, we have fenced ourselves in. We've created this little box of who we think we are, and we like to stay there. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And in fact, you could say there's everything right with it. All that we are, whether we are coming from a place of limitation or limitlessness, it is all perfect. It is exactly what it needs to be so that we can be here right now with each other. And more importantly, with this miracle within. And in this way, we are like soul reflective mirrors. The more that we choose to become aware of the fabric of all these elements an amalgamation of known and unknown elements, but we know they're there. We wouldn't be here in these bodies. And of course, science can't find where consciousness comes from or determine what it's made from, what it consists of. And the reality is, we don't need them. We don't need anyone or anything because we are whole. These bodies are the most finely attuned instruments of divine detection, of divine creation. We are literally made to be in this form to help this life force that's causing these systems to work together. We are here to be stewards of that life force, of our soul, to help usher it in to greater awareness, to keep this invisible, beyond genius, life force, intelligence evolving. This energy in and around each of us wants to grow. It wants to evolve. And if it doesn't, then it keeps trying to over and over. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when we become more objective, when we have when we have a more broad perspective of the nature of our inner nature itself, this energy that we know is energy, but at the same time, we can't make sense of it. And that's because it is beyond our current senses. This little box that we build around ourselves wasn't made to last forever. And the more we begin to come to terms with that reality, with what anybody paying attention would say is likely the most important relationship that any of us could have. And simply without it, we wouldn't be here. But when we nurture that relationship, when we learn to love it and care for it and help it have an incredible experience of growth through these bodies, through all of our trials and tribulations, and through all of our goals, aspirations, and dreams. This energy enables all of that. And when we begin to really get in tune with it, it helps us. It allows us to become more resilient. It allows us to adapt in a world that is changing so fast, mostly in the realm of invisible artificial frequencies. Yeah, that's there. But what is more there is what we're sharing. It's what we are becoming aware of within ourselves and then sharing our findings with each other selflessly so that our sense of self can be developed with full integrity, a sense of self that not only runs and hides anytime something crazy happens, a sense of self that is so in tune with its origins that when challenges arise, it's not running away. It says, how can I help? How can I serve? And with that attitude comes guidance, a knowing of what your part and what your role is for how you're going to interact with the world around you. Because you've been focusing on how you interact with it within you. So your body is relaxed. Be aware of your breathing. Slow it down and breathe a little deeper than you normally do. And see if you can feel the air going in and out of your nose. And if you can feel that, see if you can be aware of how all of this air around us goes into our lungs and then leaves them. And see if you can choose to feel how incredible that actually is. There are simple pleasures in life that most of us just walk right by. But when we slow down, when we relax our body, our being, and we begin to tune in to what it is already doing, then suddenly all the things happening in the world out there, that's no longer priority number one, because what's happening in us, that is the foundation where we can choose to build this mixture of elements that are already always there. It's just waiting for us to slow down and literally pay attention to them. We are literally taking our attention, our awareness, and we're choosing to focus on what our bodies are already doing. And even right now, when we observe ourselves from above or behind or from the side, and if our perceptual awareness is more fine-tuned so that we can see all of the neurons and electrons pulsing everywhere in our heart, our brain. Anytime we have a thought, it is the most spectacular lightning storm ever, and faster than the speed or light of sound. This intelligence is communicating with itself, but we weren't paying attention to that. And now we can, because that also is us. We are not disconnected from that process. We are at all times in total completion to this miraculous intelligence and how it's communicating to every part of our being faster than the speed of light, faster than the speed of sound. And the more we choose to feel all of this connection and activity in us, and when we get good at feeling it, meaning all of this supernatural activity that isn't actually supernatural, it is simply natural. The more finely tuned we condition ourselves to use our sensitivities to create dormant perceptual abilities that are very similar to all of those acupuncture or acupressure points that are all over our body. But these are a little different because they are metaphysical, just like our life force itself is. We don't see it, or at least most of us don't, but we know that it's there. And so, what else is it doing that we're not aware of? Because it is our birthright to be harmonized and totally conscious of these processes, because we are them and they are us. And every bit of all we are comes into this being and leaves it when it's ready. And nothing that we perceive around us comes with us. So then why would so many vote with their attention every day, every hour, every moment? We are voting with our attention. Are we voting for all the things around us? Or are we getting wiser because we realize that when we take our attention and instead of giving it away to all things external, we are giving our attention to the very source of our awareness that allows all of this to happen in our bodies. And that also becomes amplified when we focus on it. And so our body is relaxed. We're breathing slower and deeper. And of course, that little inner smile that you choose to put on your face, that as soon as you employ the muscles in your face to create that little inner smile, that one choice to do that immediately alters your body chemistry so that all of these elements that are seen and unseen, that are physical and metaphysical, with a relaxed body, with slower breathing, and with that little inner smile, that becomes the foundation. And when we learn to sustain that, and it's perfect when we go out of it and we trip and fall, because every time we break that sustained state of internal knowing, every time we break it, we're presented with an opportunity to not only get back into those states, but to connect even deeper And it really doesn't take that long if you're all in. If you choose that you're completely committed to this process, that life is your love, and that you are worthy of it loving you back because you are. When you get into these simple, sustained states of being, of conscious awareness, have all the systems and organs and glands in your body that are connected, that are always in communication with themselves. The only missing ingredient is that we voted for this illusion of separation more than we chose to up the amplitude of what this internal connection has the potential to be. And so your body is totally relaxed. Your breathing is slower and you're feeling your breathing. You're noticing that it actually feels really good for air to go in your body and back out. And it feels good. And that reminds you to put that little smile on your face. Because the more consciously you interact with yourself in this way, the more the feeling of that smile increases. And the more that this feeling increases from feeling good the feelings are subtle at first. The air feels good coming into your lungs and leaving them. And the more that feels good, the more powerful that smile becomes. And suddenly you become conscious of your body's already dazzling chemistry of intelligence. And all you are doing is choosing to learn and know about what is already happening for you. And the more that you choose to experience on what you absolutely already are, those feelings can transition from simple states of happiness, gratitude, joy, All of those words and feelings are only the base level for what those feelings have the potential to be. And the more that you allow yourself to become aware of the intelligence of your body and what it's always doing, your choice to be aware of that allows you to have a much greater knowing by experiencing what's already happening, and that you are choosing to amplify because it feels good. And it has the potential to feel better than any love affair that anybody could share with someone else. And even saying that is kind of elementary because we are talking about the creative consciousness of reality, gives birth to universes, and it can destroy them at the same time. We are that energy in this form, animating this form. We're not stuck in this form. We can be anywhere and everywhere when we know what our foundation is made of. So your body is relaxed. Your breathing is slower and deeper. You have that inner smile on your face, and you're choosing to feel just how powerful that smile has the potential to make you feel. Because when you break the cycles and patterns that you yourself has built without even knowing it, when you reverse engineer the exact same process that we use to create this box of ours, not only are we able to reverse engineer it, but we are able to take that power to levels that, for all we could know, could be at the very cutting edge of the actual evolutionary impulse of life itself. Each one of us individually and together are facing what is completely unknown, while at the same time supported by what is known. And you want to talk about feeling. Once you start to connect to that and you feel what it's communicating to you, eventually you'll find yourself laughing because how could you have ever forgotten that? But that too is yours. It is you. It's happening whether you or me or anybody else knows it or not. And when you choose to know yourself as what you are, then what you are starts to influence who you are, gives you purpose, gives you resilience, gives you strength, and it's also very nurturing. It's gentle, and it is peaceful. And all of that and so much more is already ours. We are selflessly connected to the potential that a state of self can represent to us in this life. And we emanate what we are aware of to the world around us. So, in that place of peace, there is a balance where all of the polarities, all of the duality, all of the physical and metaphysical impulses of life force, in the middle of that peace, they balance themselves out. And when we know ourselves as that 0 point that we already are, that becomes our new foundation. That becomes how we create a world in the image of what we know to be possible. And even feeling just a nanosecond of that, it feels so good. Of course, you're going to be all in. So we're relaxed. We're breathing gently and deeper. We have that little smile, and we feel it interacting with our body chemistry. And more than anything, there is a sense of peace. That is the balance between everything. And from that balance is all the elements of all that is around us. And there are elements that are beyond all of this, but that we are. And no matter if weather is made by machines or men, or if it's natural, it doesn't really matter because they come from purity. And the forces of the elements are so powerful, and we know that. But they also have their sensitivities. And when we are in tune with what we already are, we can communicate, and we are communicating to all of the fire, all of the hurricanes, the wind, the earth, her tectonic plates, her volcanoes. Whether we're able to comprehend it or not, we are that. And by our birthright, just like we can create all these layers and levels of communication within us, we are granted the ability to do this with the elements around us. And for those who want to stay in these deeper states, where you want to communicate more from this place to all of those fires, and understanding and knowing what is causing those fires, and to be so much more in tune with its natural elements rather than its intentionally instigated elements. Communicate with it. Make peace with it. Let it know that you see it and that you are a part of it and that you love greater than you fear or you struggle. And the more you become so confident of that within you, you naturally emanate that to everybody and everything around you. And if you want to do that, you can hang up. And to everybody else, before we come out of this, just scan really quick within you if there was elements of our time together that inspired you or that maybe blocked you. Allow yourself to be aware of anything within you, whether you feel stuck by it or free because of it. Either way, they both lead to the same destination. But you are the one to choose to what degree you are ready to evolve with it. And if you feel something like that, memorize it. Memorize the feeling because that is you. Balancing yourself back out. Creating a state of being that we already know is more miraculous than we could ever even imagine. And it's everywhere. This miracle is everyone. And in fact, the most miraculous thing there is, next to the miracle of life itself, is how so few seem to be aware of it. But therein lies the irony and the medicine. And so lead yourself, lead your relationship with your miraculous life force that is already what you are. That is all of what you are. And that as a species, we have an opportunity, maybe unprecedented, where enough of us can get in tune with what is truly happening, not what other humans try to say, what is truly happening. That's causing your heart to beat, and this flurry of neurons chasing itself everywhere throughout all the channels and veins, all the elements of our bodies that are also external to us. When we get this working from within, the world around us begins to follow our lead because we are that powerful. So slowly just kind of move around in your body. Turn your head. Just gentle movements. And again, if you want to stay like this, go ahead. And for those who are ready to come into a more waking state, rub your hands together. Get them really, really warm, hot. And then take the palms of your hands, put them over your eyes, and make it dark. And notice if you see anything or not in the dark. And when you're ready, welcome back. We actually didn't even go anywhere. We just amplified where we are. And I don't know if anybody has anything they want to share, or if not, please like, love, share, help us get the word out there. We want to do our part
If you
in
do
bringing
have anything to
balance.
share, just unmute yourself down below or just do a little reaction with the hand raise. So um, I feel a lot more coherent after that. So than I did at the beginning. So thank you.
Thank you.
And everyone over YouTube and Facebook, definitely share and like this. And while you're over there, definitely subscribe too.
All right. See you guys next week.
Everyone have a marvelous rest of your week. And we will see you next week on Tuesday. Same bat time, 6 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern. Okay. We love you.
Thank you. I love you guys.